So, this is the only dungeon where you actually have to use the King of Red Lions. And the only one where you can actually use the King of Red Lions. And you notice the water rising up. That's the entire thing with the water-based stuff. That's the basic gimmick for this first part of the dungeon. It can be very annoying. Especially because it just happens to happen at some times, like randomly, like you're about to get onto the ledge, and then it randomly rises down. Well, falls down. Actually, we need to move this. Like that. There's a dungeon map in here, I believe. And also a joy pendant. So we want to move this. The other thing is, a few times in this dungeon, you're gonna have to time your throwing the bombs. Which can be, again, a pain. Like here, for instance. So this is optional. Actually, I believe you only have to time your bomb throws, like, twice, including this time. Hopefully it'll hit. And a chew comes out. So yellow chews, they are basically like blue chews. I don't think blue chews actually jump at you though, which I guess is the only difference between them. But yellow chews, they either give out red or green jelly. They don't have like yellow jelly. Only in Twilight Princess is there yellow jelly for the land, which is basically lantern oil. And I believe I guess, only non-drinkable jelly in the game. Aside from the rare green jelly, which actually does nothing. And joy pendant. Not like there's any real point in coming for it. Oh yeah, the other difference between yellow chews is that they take only one hit, unlike blue chews which take 2 hits. This dungeon introduces what is probably the most annoying enemy in this game, which I will talk about when we actually encounter said enemy. What kind of bites about this dungeon is, you know you're using the King of Lions, you can't use the sail to go faster because there's no wind apparently. And the Wind Waker apparently won't really do crap for that. You are going to find a use for the Wind Waker in this dungeon later on, which will come into practice for the other dungeons. Aside from that, so you might be thinking that since this is associated with the goddesses, you know, Neru, Pharaoh, and Din, you might be thinking like, you know, there'll be like stuff with 3, like, there's a pedestal over there, and you're thinking we'll probably have to collect 2 more. No, we're only gonna have to get 1 more, which I do not understand, actually. I thought there'd be, like, you know, like another one. I don't know, I just don't get it. And, of course, the goddesses are gonna have, well, gods, in this case, are gonna have a rainbow pathway associated with them. So I'm guessing this is Neru's pedestal. there is no pedestal associated with Pharaoh, even though Pharaoh is the goddess associated with Link. Because, you know, he has a Tribes of Courage and stuff. Well, he did in Ocarina of Time, and I swear that in Ocarina of Time, that there was a cutscene that you would see that would show Link getting the, like, him having the Triforce on his hand. Not when you go to the final battle of Ganondorf, but like in the Temple of Time. I swear I saw that once, and never again on my very first time going through it. Maybe I was just imagining it. I don't know. You can rise at any time, water. The Tingle Tuner, I guess, has some sort of use in this dungeon with one enemy. But aside from that, not much else. Actually, I wonder if I could make that. No, I don't think I can actually make that. Yeah, I was thinking that with this box over here, maybe I could potentially get over here. Because you're going to have to grab that torch and try not to fall into water and bring it over here. But of course. Actually, maybe I should move this over here. I think that should be fine. Of course, that was just far enough. I'm gonna move this over here then. Move that. Okay, I'm assuming that that torch was getting in the way or something, and I don't think I can even make that jump without... Yeah, I was right, without falling. Seriously, what was with the torch? Why was it interfering? Okay, fall down. This is like the failure dungeon or something, and this is probably my favorite dungeon in the game. Well, it's tied for my favorite dungeon. The dungeon after this is probably my favorite. I mean, it's tied. There we go. I would say, though, that this is easily my favorite water-based dungeon in any Zelda game. Because we don't have to deal with all of that water-raising crap. And I mean throughout. Ignoring them. I don't think they can even get up here. And as you can guess, when chews are on water, they're kind of invincible until they get out of the water. But every single water dungeon in a 3D Zelda game has basically been, you know, raise water level, decrease water level, raise it, decrease it, something with the current, etc. Yeah, I just never really liked it. I would say Great Bay Temple is bearable, if nothing else. But I cannot stand Lake Bed Temple, or obviously the Water Temple, because everyone hates the Water Temple, and for good reason. It's a pain. I do believe that in Ocarina of Time. Okay, that current was pushing me for some reason, but I believe Ocarina of Time 3D, they changed. How does that not... Okay, how does that not break the stone? I don't get it. But anyway, I believe in Ocarina of Time 3D, they changed up the water temple a bit. That was weird. But anyway, as I was saying before that Yellow Chew interrupted me, I believe in Ocarina of Time 3D, they changed the water temple a bit so that some of the doors will be color-coded, like, depending on where it would lead you to raise the water level. Aside from that, I do believe that being able to equip your boots, like, I believe they're treated more like items than equipment. But I believe that... Okay, I thought that would be able to work, but no, it didn't. But I believe that it'll work more like items, like in Twilight Princess. Don't exactly know why they did that. So, that was a bubble, which... You can blow out its flames via the Deku Leaf, but there's not really any point going the extra F doing that, because you can still kill them without it. Boomerang does nothing to them for some reason. I believe if you blow out their flames, it still does nothing, whereas on a normal Skull Head, it would get rid of the flame on it. I mean, would destroy it. We also have an eye up there. Can't do anything about it yet, but we are going to be visiting this area because it has a chart in here instead of a freaking joy pendant like this has. I wonder how many joy pendants I have at this point. I don't feel like checking anyway. Okay, I have no clue to how that didn't hit the orb, but whatever. And I don't think I can make it to the door before the water rises. I really don't like that water rising thing. I'm not sure if you can tell it already. And again, that whole there not being free pedestals thing kind of bugs me. Again, because number 3 has kind of had a huge thing to do with the series, like... Now, Ocarina of Time, you have to collect the free spiritual stones. And usually in each Zelda game, you have to go through 3 dungeons before going to basically the next phase of a game. I think Majora's Mask is the only Zelda game, well, 3D one that didn't do that. Because Twilight Princess did that, and Ocarina of Time did it. And there's a whole Triforce thing, but whatever. And this room is a joke. I don't know why I threw the bomb. But, yeah, you could probably do it faster, but of course I don't. And yet again, the goddesses have another rainbow pathway associated with them. Now, more on the water temple. I believe that in a UK magazine, I guess the UK's version of Nintendo Power, they had this little section, I think, in the Zelda part of it. Like this little Zelda dedicated magazine for its anniversary. They had this little section called Best Level in Any Game. Guess what level it was? It was the Water Temple. I'm serious. I read it and I was like, what the fuck? Why would you say that about the Water Temple? Because I'm honestly severely doubting that whoever chose that actually enjoyed it when they first went through it. But it's... That's what I give for mocking the Water Temple, but anyway. It's really not that well designed, because you are doing... It gets so repetitive after a while. I don't just dislike it for how much of a pain it is and how confusing it is. I just dislike it because it is so repetitive. You're going up, you're going down, you're going up to raise it, you're going back down to raise it, you're going to the middle to raise it. it's not even that well designed. Like, after you get the long shot, it becomes so much easier, but still. It is not that well designed. Tingle statue is also in here, I believe, but seriously, that is not the best, most well-designed level in any game. It is far from it. And you probably want to get rid of the rats here. And I was hoping that could destroy the rat, but no. Where did the rat go? So I'm just gonna call up Tingle and hopefully not get any problems. And with no problems at all, Tingle actually appeared. That's nice. But that thing over there is a Beamos, and an easy way to deal with them is, well, if using the Tingle Tuner, is to just lock onto it with R and then use the bomb. The item of the dungeon will make dealing with them, I guess, less costly, but it's not exactly reliable, and as you saw there, I got 10 rubies back after I used that bomb. Which you will always get when you use a bomb. I believe that the more enemies you hit, or I think the more times you use it, the more rubies you'll get. You can still do this without taking out that Beamos, but I just find it easier and I want to demonstrate using the bomb on it anyway. There's another form of a Beamos where its eye only shoots in one direction, but it won't let you pass unless you get rid of it. It's probably the only one that most people know how to deal with, understandably, because, well, most people, including myself, cannot really get their aim right and stuff. Oh wow, I landed right on it. Wow. I was right on it. I did not think of that. The Goddess Tingle statue? Really? Actually, the remaining Tingle statues are not that well hidden. Anyway. Actually, did that no, that Beamos did not respond. And because I can, I decided to use Blue Ting. I believe that back in the Forsaken Fortress, there's actually a way of decreasing the amount of money you have to pay for Ting. It's kind of weird how Tingle describes it, but I'll talk about that when we get back there. And that's pretty much it for the Tingle Tuner in this dungeon. We're also going to revisit this room after we get the item of this dungeon. Okay, I did not actually think that I would miss that. Or that the boomerang would go through the wall. And the goddesses decided to put a little platform up here to make it easy for us to get over here. How nice. This is gonna be the main gimmick for the next two dungeons. And for this part of the dungeon. Working with an NPC. Which in this case is this statue. So we're gonna have to guide it under here because we can't pick it up and we'll still walk. You have to be kind of slow with it because the statue is a moron and does not realize that you could go that way. Are you serious? I thought I glitched for a second. But if the statue falls into a pit, it's kind of weird what happens. On the Tingle Tuner, Tingle will say, Mr. Fairy! Even if you're perfectly fine. But you'll actually take damage for some reason. And you will also... Oh, I forgot that did chew. You will also start in the beginning of the room, and it'll be as if Link actually fell in. Which I always found was kind of weird. I mean, I know the statues are important, but... I don't know. And I'm guessing each of these statues is supposed to represent an individual goddess or something. I don't know why it's such a primitive representation. Or why... Like, why is it a primitive representation? With an angry look on its face. It doesn't even look like whatever it's supposed to represent. Like, I'm assuming that's supposed to represent maybe Din. That's supposed to represent Pharaoh. And then that one is supposed to represent Nehru. Because that's the order we got the statues in. I mean, pearls, not statues. And we're going to be using this song a lot. Not in this dungeon, but the next two. But it is, to Nintendo's credit, probably the catchiest song in the game. I personally like how it goes. I'm hoping that if in Skyward Sword they do something like with the house statues, where they like play remix versions of classic Zelda songs, they do something with that song. I would love to hear that, because I think it's a really, for what it's worth, a really nicely rendered song, I guess. And they want to use the grappling hook, but we can just use this. Because I don't feel like using the grappling hook. Actually, I think I can make that jump. Yep, so you don't even have to use the grappling hook at all, even though they want you to, and they make it look like you have to. I do have to admit, I like the whole idea of having to control multiple characters throughout the dungeons. Like, not just Link, but... you know, other characters. Because I know that... I don't know what other Zelda games actually allowed you to play as someone other than Link. Aside from Majora's Mask with controlling Cafe in Saku's hideout. Would have been nice if they did that in the first few dungeons. But oh well. I mean, they could have potentially done it in Dragoon's Cavern, because Medley was there. Or maybe they also could have... I don't think they could have really done it in Forest Haven because of Makar being captured. But oh well. And I do believe... I think the other time they've used a playable character in a Zelda game was with... What dungeon was it in Phantom Hourglass? Because in Phantom Hourglass, you had to rescue some Goron tribe elder's son. And then you had to work with him. I don't remember what the name of that dungeon was, but I know you would have to take control of him at some point. It was against the boss, and that boss was also pretty decent in my opinion. Like, not just because of the fact that you were controlling multiple characters, but because of how it was also executed as well.